Come with me to a magical land full of toys, where life's so grand. We're talking Toys R Us Christmas Dream Book 1985. Hit it! It was 1985. The NES launched nationwide in the U.S. Doc Brown sent Marty McFly back 30 years in Back to the Future, and Toys R Us released their Dream Book, and kids everywhere circled what they wanted. I'm your host, Jerry D., with another episode of Totally Rad Christmas, the podcast that talks all things Christmas in the 80s. Toys, movies, specials, music, and fads. If it was gnarly during Christmas in the 80s, we got it covered. What's up, dudes? Today, we're talking the Toys R Us Christmas Dream Book 1985. Yep, it's the holiday catalog that turned newsprint and cheap ink into pure plastic-powered Christmas magic. Now, before we crack open the Dream Book, we got to talk about the store that made it all possible, Toys R Us.
I don't want to grow up, I'm a Toys R Us kid.
There's a million toys at Toys R Us that I can play with.
Toys R Us goes all the way back to 1948, when Charles Lazarus opened a little Washington, D.C. shop called Children's Bargain Town, selling baby furniture. He noticed something. Parents didn't come back for a second crib, but they would come back for toys. So he pivoted from cribs and strollers to playthings. In 1957, Lazarus opened the first store under the Toys R Us name, built like a supermarket for toys. Long aisles, stacked shelves, self-service shopping, and wall-to-wall kid stuff. He became one of the earliest category killers. If you wanted toys, you didn't just go to a department store, you went to Jeffrey's house. That's right, Toys R Us. Over the next few decades, Toys R Us exploded into a global chain, added Babies R Us, experimented with concepts like Kids R Us, and cemented itself in pop culture. Their giraffe mascot, originally Dr. G. Raff in 1950s ads, eventually evolved into the Jeffrey we all know and love, starring in TV spots and singing that legendary "I don't want to grow up, I'm a Toys R Us kid" jingle. It's still stuck in my head after all these years. By the mid-'80s, a trip to Toys R Us wasn't just shopping. It was a pilgrimage. Glossy aisles, bike racks, game counters, literal walls of action figures. I mean, it was amazing. It's everything that we wanted it to be. Now, for me, the closest Toys R Us was 2.5 hours away in Corpus Christi. Whenever we'd go visit my aunt and uncle, we'd stop at this comic book shop owned by a judge called Collector's Planet, or might have been Collector's World. I don't quite exactly remember. But then we'd go to Toys R Us. And it was the most fantastic thing because as soon as you walked in, you'd have to go through this maze of aisles to get to the main floor. And once you got to that, there were just long, long rows of G.I. Joes and Transformers and He-Man and Thundercats and Mask and Voltron and Ninja Turtles and everything you could possibly want. But Toys R Us, we're here to talk about its Dream Book. Toys R Us didn't invent the idea of circling stuff in a catalog. That honor actually goes way back. In 1933, and I've already talked about this a little bit in my Wish Books episode from Season 1, Sears launched its first dedicated Christmas catalog, which eventually became known as a Sears Wish Book, a thick phone book-sized volume full of toys, clothes, gadgets, and home goods. By the late 60s, it was officially called The Wish Book, and for decades, kids would spend hours circling toys, folding page corners, and basically submitting a giant paper manifesto to Santa and our parents. Other retailers joined in eventually, Montgomery Ward, JCPenney, each with their own gift books and Christmas catalogs, all functioning as these kind of pre-internet wish lists. For a lot of families, the holiday season didn't officially start until that brick of a catalog hit the coffee table. Well, Toys R Us came at it a little differently. Instead of these giant wish books, they leaned on smaller, limited-page circulars, the Dream Books, World Toy Books, and other branded inserts that came in Sunday papers or magazines like Family Circle. The 1985 Dream Book we're talking about was exactly that, About a dozen pages, but absolutely packed with the hottest toys of the moment. So if the Sears Wish Book was this massive 300-page Bible of Christmas, the Toys R Us Dream Book was kind of like a mixtape. Short, curated, and laser-focused on what kids actually screamed about in the toy aisles.
Shut up and take my money!
So let's just dive right in here. On the cover, we start with bright Toys R Us branding. There's a big star in the middle of the page, and in it you can see kids with some toys in like almost like a yellow brick road leading up to a Toys R Us store. And Jeffrey's there. And it even has a little thought bubble that says open till midnight, Mondays through Saturday, Sunday till 10. That is crazy. They were open till midnight. That's just unbelievable. Also in letters underneath it says, come with me to a magical land full of toys where life's so grand. And Jeffrey's sporting like a nice little red branded shirt and some green overalls. Man, Jeffrey's styling. I love it because basically it says, strap in kids, this is where your wish list is born. So you turn the page and basically there's this contrast, and it's like really whiplash of a contrast. So there's Cabbage Patch Kids and there's sectars. By 1985, Cabbage Patch Kids were still a cultural supernova. Born from Xavier Roberts' soft sculpture dolls and licensed to Coleco, each kid had a unique name and adoption papers. They weren't just toys, they were your baby, complete with birth certificate. These were the dolls that caused store riots just a couple of years earlier, and seeing them in the Dream Book felt like you were staring at the big leagues of Christmas loot. But for me, the winner on this page was the Sectars, the Warriors of Symbion, Coleco's wild sci-fi fantasy line where humanoid insect warriors rode giant bug mounts. The Hive playset is featured here, and it was massive.
A civilization dies, but its secrets are preserved in a mysterious place called the Hive. Now, good and evil sectors battle for those secrets. You control the monster Nor, the giant destructor ball, the booby-trapped bridge, the secret laboratory. All the defenses left by the ancients in the mysterious Hive. Sectors by Coleco.
It was a towering insect fortress with multiple levels, labs, platforms, and of course, that legendary furry spider hand puppet thing that turned your forearm into a monster. It was equal parts playset, puppet, and nightmare fuel. So basically, page 2 was like, you can adopt a sweet baby doll or command an army of bug warriors from a mutant fortress. Man, telling you, 1985, there was some wild stuff. There was a lot of range that year. On the next page, we get quite a few different things. So Thundercats starts us off. It's figures of Lion-O and Monkeyan by LJN. Thundercats, of course, roared into shelves with big, chunky LJN figures. Lion-O came with the Sword of Omens and claw shield, and he even had the light-up Eyes of Thundera gimmick.
Half human, half animal.
Thunder, 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 thunder.
Thundercats, Mummer and Lion-O, each sold separately.
I, Mumra, want the Sword of Thundera.
With this secret power ring, battery not included, you can make Lion-O's eyes light up. With Battlematic action, you control their swords.
The sword is mine, Lion-O. That's what you think, Mumra.
Thundercats, Mummer and Lion-O with light-up eyes, each sold separately, new from LJN.
Monkeyan brought that hunched heavy hitter vibe with mace in hand. And I'm telling you, these are the kind of figures that you could actually feel when they hit the floor. And if it fell on your foot, oof, your toe did not appreciate it. But right next to that, also by LJN, is the WWF Tag Teams and Sling 'em Fling 'em Wrestling Ring. These figures were big, rubbery superstars like Hulk Hogan. And the Sling 'em Fling 'em Wrestling Ring was full of elastic ropes, springy corners, and a design built to literally launch wrestlers at each other. For some kids, Christmas morning instantly turned into WrestleMania.
With Wrestling Superstars, it's like having a real match right in your own home. Yes, there's Jimmy Superfly Snuka, the Iron Sheik, Hulk Hogan, and Big John Studd. And now you can fly 'em and flip 'em in the Fling 'em Wrestling Ring. Wrestling Superstars and new Wrestling Ring, each sold separately from LJ.
Now, nearby, we have, again, more Cabbage Patch Kids. It's the Cabbage Patch Water playset and Baby General Hospital playset. Cabbage Patch goes full world building here. There's the water playset that I mentioned for bath time adventures. The Babyland General Hospital was kind of this, you could role play the whole adoption process. There were cribs, bassinets, exam tables. I mean, basically it turned your bedroom into like a little tiny pastel maternity ward.
You're one of a kind, my Cabbage Patch Kid, and here's where I found you.
Open a whole world of fun with the new Cabbage Patch Kids Babyland General Hospital. There's a maternity ward, a stairway to the nursery,
Night-night.
and lots of places to play.
A baby for me. I'll take good care of you.
Cabbage Patch Kids Babyland General Hospital with 5 rooms and 4 dolls. It's where hours of fun are born.
But one of the coolest things was Voltron, right next to that. Again, with the range. Voltron merch, it was the lions, and, Voltron was basically the 5 robotic lions that formed this defender of the universe. Now, this particular one was made out of plastic, and he does have the blazing sword in hand, but basically Voltron looked like the final boss of your entire toy shelf, right? Nothing like a giant mecha that says Christmas. Now, as you turn the page, we get some Hasbro here. What's interesting is that we don't get G.I. Joe or Transformers, which are like big Hasbro heavy hitters. But it starts us off with My Buddy. My Buddy was basically Hasbro's attempt at like a doll for boys, right? Chucky was inspired by My Buddy. It's got overalls, striped shirt, bowl cut hair, and, another jingle that never leaves your brain.
My buddy, my buddy, my buddy, my buddy. Wherever I go, he goes. My buddy, my buddy, my buddy, my buddy. My buddy and me. Kid sister, kid sister, kid sister, kid sister. Wherever I go, you're gonna go. Kid sister, kid sister, kid sister, kid sister, kid sister and me.
My Buddy and Kid Sister. Each sold separately from Play School.
My Buddy was marketed as your real-life best friend. Just tagged along to the park, the backyard, the living room fortress made out of couch cushions, anything. Right next to that, we have the My Little Pony Dream Castle.
My Little Pony Dream Castle.
I can play with my little ponies there.
My Little Pony Dream Castle.
A beautiful place to comb their pretty hair.
My Little Pony Dream Castle.
A lovely throne and Spike the Dragon too.
My Little Pony Dream Castle.
Little pony, it's all for you. I love you, my little pony.
My Little Pony Dream Castle comes with My Little Pony Majesty. Other ponies sold separately from Hasbro.
The Dream Castle gave your ponies a real home. Turrets, a working drawbridge, throne room flags, and grooming accessories. It was bright, it was pastel, and it was just begging for crossover episodes with He-Man. I mean, for real. There's a Light Bright on this page as well. Now, that Light Bright was from the 60s, I believe, and it basically kept that concept alive all the way through the 80s. You plug in a black paper sheet, poke colored pegs through, and you watch your picture glow. Snowmen, Christmas trees, or improvised space battles, I mean, whatever you wanted, really. All rendered in glowing dots that eventually ended up all over the house. We used to lose them all the time. But one of the MVPs on this page is Glowworm. And not just any glowworm, it's a musical glowworm. Soft body, vinyl light up head, and in the musical versions, built-in lullaby sounds. You hug him, and the dark isn't so scary anymore because he lights up. For a lot of kids, this was their first nightlight, and is definitely the first nightlight you could hug. Now, on the next page, we get some Milton Bradley and Play School things. So, Simon, I'm sure you remember Simon. It's that big round memory game with the 4 colored pads. It flashed a pattern, you repeated it. If you do well, the pattern got longer and more complicated. But if you do poorly, you got that mocking brap failure sound. Family game night and electronic arcade vibes all in one saucer-shaped toy.
Johnny, he's gonna play Simon. Nobody beats Simon.
I want you, Simon.
Simon is the challenge you've been waiting for because it takes coordination of hand and mind just to play the game. And if you get very good at Simon, great rewards await you.
Thank you, Simon.
Simon is waiting for you. from Milton Bradley.
Play school, we also got some chunky preschool toys. There was a shape sorter, stackers, simple vehicles, things like that. First tool bench, just a lot of bright primary colors. They're oversized parts and basically just made to survive being thrown off a high chair. So good old fun fashion toy there. But we also get Bigfoot Monster Truck. Bigfoot was basically the toy version of the famous, blue monster truck. Later on, we'd see that on the Power team. But depending on the model, it might be battery powered, friction driven, or just free rolling. The goal is simple though. You crush imaginary cars and you dominate the living room terrain, right? You can add some Lego, crushed cars, and you had your own monster truck rally. Now, as you turn the page, we get into another heavy hitter of the 80s, Mattel. So we start off with Barbie's Dream Kitchen and Barbie's Workout Center. So Mattel gives Barbie both domestic and fitness supremacy. The Dream Kitchen is packed with tiny doors, faux appliances, and mini accessories. The Workout Center has aerobics gear, benches, and even a little TV for her to follow along. Plugged Barbie straight into the 80s fitness video craze. Got a jazzercise.
Here's the new Barbie Workout Center. You put it together. Great shape Barbie sold separately.
Talon and Locker.
We girls know where to set the pace. Right, Barbie? Workout center. Pedals going up, pedals down. Exercycle really moves it around. Barbie lifting weights on the slant. Barbie always can, never can't. We girls can do anything. Right, Barbie?
The Barbie Workout Center comes with an exercycle and everything you see here. Barbie dolls sold separately. New from Mattel.
Now, Rainbow Bright was right underneath that spread. Rainbow Bright dolls brought color coding to a whole new level. Each color kid and sprite embodied a color with bright outfits, star badges, and in some versions, their little sprite buddies. They looked exactly like they'd step out of the cartoon and into your toy box.
Hi, I brought Rainbow Bright to meet you. Rainbow Bright? Who's she? She's my friend, and she has the power of the rainbow to make you happy. She's beautiful. Look at her hair, and her purple star, and shiny dress. Rainbow Bright, you make me happy. Rainbow Bright makes everyone happy.
Rainbow Bright has a purple star on her cheek and a rainbow star on her dress. She's by Mattel.
But for me, because I wasn't really into a lot of the stuff, the MVP on this page is the CNC. The CNC was like the, spin the arrow, hear the sound classic toy. You pull the string depending, you might pull the lever and you hear Animal Farm. Animal Farm, what am I talking about? You'd hear farm animals, like the duck says, and then you hear a quack. Part toy, it's educational. It's also like a white noise machine sometimes as toddlers just keep playing it over and over again and kind of tune out the sounds. But across the page from it is probably my favorite of the entire dream book here. We start off with Masters of the Universe, Snake Mountain. Of course, everybody knows Snake Mountain was Skeletor's lair. It was this big purple rock face, like giant monster mouth. It had prison cells, there was bridges, creepy voice-changing microphone, and of course, a giant snake in the background. Now, I wish it had Castle Grayskull, because honestly, Castle Grayskull was my favorite, but, Snake Mountain was just as good.
Is Snake Mountain ready to take on He-Man? Anytime!
Snake Mountain, Battle Armor, He-Man, and Skeletor each sold separately. You put the mountain together. Batteries not included.
Is your serpent ready to strike? Yes! Come, He-Man. Come to Snake Mountain. If you dare.
Snake Mountain with Echo Microphone, new from the Masters of the Universe collection. Action figures each sold separately from Mattel.
And actually, it wasn't too bad. I believe it was like $39, something like that, which is not terrible in the 80s. I mean, that's equivalent today of probably about $100. And that's actually what it sells for today. Now, the figures, there's a bunch of figures on this play set. They're all $4.97 each, which is, again, pretty good price. Because nowadays, to buy a He-Man toy, especially in the Origins line, you're looking at least $20. But some of the figures we had were He-Man, Skeletor, Evelyn, Teela, Mossman, Mechanic, Too Bad, Stinkor, and Cobra Khan, all featured there on Snake Mountain. And they, of course, most of them had like some sort of unique action feature. Mossman had like the fuzzy moss that kind of was supposed to smell mossy. Mechanic, his neck actually elongated. There was, Stinkor had smell-infused plastic, and I mean, it was just a lot of cool stuff. Spring-loaded waists on them. I mean, it's just great. He-Man and his Rogues Gallery. But right next to that is She-Ra and her Crystal Castle. The Crystal Castle is the shimmering counterpoint to Grayskull's grim fortress. Pink, translucent details, balconies, and throne rooms, ready for She-Ra and her crew. It was equal parts playset and display piece. I mean, this thing basically just glowed when it was on a shelf. And I remember a couple of friends that had it. And it's never one that I really wanted, but I think it'd be kind of cool to have nowadays.
Gleaming in the morning light, home of She-Ra shining bright. Crystal Castle.
You put it together. She was so separately, you can pretend.
Magic things shine everywhere, 'cause it has a secret power. Lifted high on a throne, She-Ra saves the world alone. The fate of the world safe in Crystal Castle, Princess of Power.
Crystal Castle comes with everything you see here. She-Ra dolls sold separately. New from Mattel.
Another unsung hero of the 80s was the Wheeled Warriors, which is right below both of them. The Wheeled Warriors had an awesome cartoon, Jason the Wheeled Warriors. Unfortunately, it had barely anything to do with the toy line. The toy line was cool. It basically let you battle in these custom vehicles. They had swappable parts. They were like these menacing plant-based villains called the Monster Minds. You snapped on like saw blades, cannons, extra armor, just things like that. And you basically create new rides for every battle, right? And the cartoon, Jason the Wheel Warriors, is another banging theme song, just fantastic. But unfortunately, there were no Jason and the Wheeled Warriors like toys to go with, and no character toys from the cartoon. So all these that were included in these toys were just generic looking figures, teeny tiny figures, like at that. So they were about the size of Mask, maybe a little bit smaller. But it was kind of cool because you could turn your bedroom floor into like this war zone of like chrome and vines, right? So that's always neat. As you turn the page, you get Rainbow Bright Microphone. Gave kids the power of karaoke before karaoke was a thing. You know, it was a corded microphone with bright styling and little built-in speaker. I mean, it was perfect for like just belting out Christmas carols and theme songs, or just improvised Rainbow Land speeches, you know, Independence Day style. Also, on that page, we get a Bigfoot AM/FM desk radio. So it looked basically like the Bigfoot monster truck. It was kind of cool. You twist the knobs, you find your local top 40 station, or I guess maybe this time of year Christmas station, and you just jam out while doing some homework. On its opposite facing page, we have another one of my all-time favorite toy lines, Mask. These were so cool, done by Kenner. And in this particular ad, we see Rhino, which was like the 18-wheeler.
Mask, where illusion is the ultimate weapon.
Convert Switchblade to jet mode. Surprise, Matt Tracker. It's mayhem. Battle stations. Protect the decoder, Bruce. I'm going up. Stacks ready to fire.
Mask, Switchblade, Thunderhawk, and Rhino.
Fire!
Each sold separately with action figure.
Cover me, Matt. 10-4. Sato's getting away. But you're not, Mayhem.
Mask, Switchblade, Thunderhawk, and Rhino. Each sold separately. New from Kenner.
Rhino's the tractor trailer that transforms into heavily armored defense unit. There were hidden rocket launchers, flip-out cannons, a detachable ATV, and a battering ram bumper. The pilot figures, Matt Tracker was one of them, although I always preferred his Thunderhawk outfit. But the pilot figures actually fit inside the cab. They had their helmets and, you know, their masks and everything, just like in the cartoon. Rhino was one of my all-time favorite toys. Just so fun, so cool. And I mean, it was basically, this toy was like owning an entire episode of Mask in one vehicle because it did so many things, and it came with several figures. We also got Play-Doh sets. You know, there was a bunch of these Play-Doh sets around there. And BMX bikes, like full-size, you know, 80s dreams on two wheels, right? I mean, they were like, they had the pads, the crossbars, the big, bold paint jobs, mag wheels if you were lucky. I mean, these things were like your ticket to neighborhood freedom. And they had just enough danger to make you feel like you were starring in your own low-budget stunt show, or like you were starring in the movie Rad. Now, as you turn the page, we get Panache Place. Now, Panache Place was famous for its Voltron toys. And this most of this page is filled with Voltron. So we had their figures. They focused more on like the bigger pieces, the detailed figures. They had the lion cockpits that actually seated the pilots. We have the figures of Keith, Lance, Pidge, Hunk, and Allura. Each pilot, of course, came with a removable helmet and sometimes their key. So that was really cool because you could pretend you were actually forming Voltron. We also see the Skull Tank and the Doom Blaster vehicles. I mean, they brought like that Robeast energy to the shells, right? The skull motifs were on point. They had spikes. They had big cannons. They're like perfect targets for Voltron's blazing sword. And of course, they gave the bad guys some proper hardware so Voltron had something to slice besides just air. But we also get a Voltron figure. Now, this is the plastic Voltron figure, the one that was had the 5 lions that would join. It wasn't the die-cast metal one like Matchbox. This one was done in plastic. We also get the Castle of Lions, which was another one I always wanted. It just looks so cool. It's a sleek design. And, it could become a spaceship, which was awesome. It just anchors the whole line. There was turrets, command rooms, balconies, computer consoles. This thing was like as close as you could get to living on planet Eris, without a space ticket.
Enter the world of Voltron, where thrilling adventures let you soar beyond the limits of your imagination. Where the valiant Voltron force merges together in their robotic lions to challenge the might of King Zarkon's demonic minions and menacing machines. You can join this never-ending battle between the army of evil and the champions of justice, with the fate of planet Eris and the entire universe at stake. Voltron action figures, lions, and vehicles, each sold separately from Panache Place.
You turn the page and it's Tonka with GoBots. It's the GoBots Command Center. I mean, basically it served as like a carrier and unfolded into a full-on base, which was awesome, with elevators and ramps and computer stations. Had that weird robot face, in the cockpit, and it basically doubled as storage for your GoBots. So that was also pretty cool. And then we also had Thruster, which was like the Renegades headquarters. So Command Center was for the GoBots, the Guardians, essentially, and Thruster was for the Renegades. And so it's their stealth warship. It opened into like this towering enemy headquarters. It's kind of like, you could think about it kind of like the Cobra Terrordrome of the GoBots world, right? Landing platforms, weapon pods, capture areas. I mean, it just made the whole conflict feel like super legit. You weren't just rolling cars around. You actually had like bases.
Here comes the GoBot Command Center.
Your parents put it together.
Oh!
You can change it to a land walker and a mighty fortress. 9-volt battery not included. GoBots sold separately.
Enemy GoBot attacking. Now to capture master controls. Leader 1, try and conquer the world now. You are grounded, Coptor.
The GoBot Command Center. Leader 1 and Coptor each sold separately. New from Tonka.
Also on this page, we get some pound puppies, just soft, droopy plush dogs. They have the sad eyes that everybody loves and adoption certificates. You basically rescued them from the pound and gave them a home. And you probably made them watch a Skeletor attack Castle Grayskull across the room. And finally, on the back cover, we get Toys R Us merch. There was Toys R Us kids sweatshirts. It's all about, just Toys R Us kind of branding. They had Jeffrey giraffe dolls, and then there were a few other things like telescopes and wooden cribs and things like that. But the Jeffrey doll was pretty cool. It's just this plush, it's just really huggable. And I mean, it's just the embodiment of that jingle that we all can't stop singing.
I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid.
There's a million toys at Toys R Us that I could play with.
I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. They got stuff that's so much less to really put your legs.
From bikes to trains to video games, it's the biggest toy store there is.
I don't want to grow up, because baby, if I did, I couldn't be a Toys R Us kid.
More games, more toys, oh boy! I want to be a Toys R Us kid.
But G.I. Joe taught us that knowing is half the battle. I think in this case, the other half is circling almost every toy in the dream book and pretending you weren't being, quote unquote, reasonable. Well, it's Christmas. It's time to dust off the old catalogs, flip through the memories, and remember what it felt like to build your entire personality around a 2-page toy spread. So check us out on our social media pages, which you can find at linktree.com/totallyradchristmas. And if you're feeling like a kid sprinting through the automatic doors the second Jeffrey unlocked them, leave us a review on iTunes. It helps us reach more people and spread some rad holiday cheer. Now, don't forget to check out our merch shop on tpublic.com and our super dope website, totallyradchristmas.com. I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. Later, dudes.
I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. There's a million toys at Toys R Us that I can play with.
Ho, 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 more games, more toys. Oh, boy! I want to be a Toys R Us kid.